And the women said, watch as men call us lottery tickets. Watch as they cash register us into gamble, into played out combinations of sweaty bills and pocket one. Watch as they lick their lips for that better life. Watch as they pout when we don't pay out, when the bling of our breasts doesn't make them Cheshire cat the same, when we have our own debts that gotta be paid to mirrors, to mothers, to the way our hearts traffic light in the closet after we sold ourselves whole. And the women said, feel the way we became campfire, how we ghost storied into this dangerous beauty, how the men can't scrub out our smoke. Our blue learned to burn slow, stand still like the moment between begging and maybe. Feel the way that we soil into shovel, how we let ourselves be held even after a matchbox tongue misspoke our flames, even after we told Flint, you don't live here anymore. The women said, feel how we are not open fields waiting for their strike. They cannot bury us deep, call us things of war, and be surprised when we landmine.
That was And the Women Said from Kelly Grace Thomas's new book, Boat Burned. This book is just full of metaphor, as is that poem. But I wrote down a few as I was going by. So like we have history is a dirty ocean. My body has always been a window I cannot throw myself from. Hope is the loneliest house on the block. Worry, this is an extended metaphor where worry is a dog, but worry pisses on every flower. Like, where do you come up with this stuff? Because you are probably, I mean, of all there's been like, I think 12 Neil Postman Award for metaphor winners, and you are the most like Neil Postman Award winner person there is, because your poems are just full of these. And I wonder if you like, do they come out spontaneously in the process of writing, or do you have like a notebook full of metaphors and you just like, you know, because I took a class and Janet Fitch was on episode maybe like 12 or something, and she has like a file cabinet full of like metaphors and like descriptions and things, and when she wants to describe a house she can like go to her drawer and pull out descriptions, which is just an amazing thing. So in one hand I imagine you like having a notebook that you just like, oh, that's a metaphor, and then you write it down. Or do they come out in the poems? Like, how do you come up with this stuff?
Yeah, that's a good question, man. I wish I was organized enough to have a filing cabinet somewhere with like ideas. For me, ideas they come and go, and I don't usually like if I can get to a phone or a notepad in time. It's great if they can stay, but it's rare. I think like I really attribute the role of metaphor in my life to being a teacher. And that I would have to explain things so many, you explain something to a teenager and they just kind of give you this look like, huh? And then you explain it again and there's like no registry. So I just had to keep on explaining in different ways. And then eventually people would like, click. And I think for me that metaphors take abstraction and they make it really tangible. It makes it so I can touch it or I can like have a relationship. I come up with metaphors all different ways. A lot of times I will, in Boat Burn, there's a lot of metaphors that work as touchstones that I come back to a lot, and then I manipulate over and over again to hopefully like deepen and can like make the issue more complex. But I have like a thing that is my writing mantra, and it's called like first thought, worst thought. So like I have the theory that our brains really like low hanging fruit. So let's say you're saying, and then he was as white as, and then your brain is saying ghost, ghost, say ghost, like let's just go to the next line. Like your brain's like, come on, you already know the answer. And for me, I always try to see how I can go like 2 or 3 from whatever that thing is to try to find something like, I use the example when I teach, like, he was as white as coconut meat, like the inside of a coconut, like something that is also white, I mean, Google is my friend. I also Google like what are white things or whatever. But I think a lot of times I'm pushing my brain. I go to art always to experience something new. And I think that surprise is really, really important in poems, in art, in life. So I try to surprise myself with what combinations, and it's usually just when I'm writing. Like I'll just be like, hope is. And like that particular one I was thinking of, and it's in the notes in my book, I was thinking of Pablo Neruda, and how he says, like, I will wait for you like a house, lonely until my windows ache. And in that poem, I was talking about it was a portrait of a roofless house, and their relationship to hope and how, anyway, you'll have to read the poem of how it was. So I try to do that. I also I play a little game where I'll write down like everyday things, like a bus stop, a broom, a microphone, whatever. And then a lot of times I'll write down things that have to do with like my identity. If I'm really if I'm stuck, usually it's on the spot, but if I'm really stuck and I'm trying to just tinker around, and then I'll like just draw lines and I'll try to match oh, my heart's a bus stop, people stay for a while and then catch the next route or whatever. So like a lot of times I'll just kind of like make columns because I work for Get Lit and I wrote a textbook for them. I co-wrote it with Diane, Louis Lane, the executive director. And I also teach workshops that I feel like a lot of my job as an educator and poet is to demystify stuff like metaphor, and show how you can really kind of like make really fresh metaphors with like just making two columns and starting to match it up. So that's one way. And I also just try to like push my brain. Like in The Woman Said, I remember there's certain words that I really don't like. And for some reason, I don't like smile, like in a poem. I mean, it's fine, So I remember thinking like smile, like I don't like the word smile. What else can I say? Like who's famous for their smile? Oh, the Cheshire Cat. So a lot of times it's me just going like, okay, smile, and then going like 3 degrees off of what the original word is.